Before dissertation defense is started, please set your mobile phone into silent mode, and it is not allowed to take pictures or photos during this dissertation defense except who had already had permission from SBS ATB, since it will disturb its processes. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greeting for all of us with Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I declare this dissertation defense is started. This dissertation defense is held to give opportunity to doctoral candidate Rudy Setyopurnomo to deliver his dissertation research title Hospital Strategy Execution System by Maximizing Daily EBITDA to Enhance Operations Performance and Profitability, and answer questions or defend his dissertation against critics or comment in the session. Doctoral candidate has been doing his dissertation research under supervision of team of promoters as follows: Professor Dr. Insinyur Sudarso Kadri Wiryono, DEA from ATB as promoter, Yuliani Dwi Lestari ST MBE PhD from ATB as co-promoter, Dr. Insinyur Subiakto MBE from ATB as co-promoter. While the examiners in the sessions are Professor Donald Christofelantu ST MBE PhD from ITB, Yunita Ani Nainggolan SEMCom PhD from ITB, and Professor Dr. Insinyur Budi Wiweko, Specialist of Skins MPH from UI. Ladies and gentlemen, next I will ask the Chief Promoter, Professor Dr. Insinyur Sudarso Kadri Wiryono DEE, to deliver curriculum vitae of doctoral candidates and then to convey academic accountability regarding to the acceptance of this dissertation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to read the education curriculum vitae and academic accountability of the candidate Rudy Setyopurnomo. Okay. From education background, candidate Rudy Setyopurnomo was graduated as a mechanical engineer from Mechanical Engineering Department of ITB in 1976. His master's degree was obtained from Universitas Indonesia in 1990s as a Master of Management. Then in 1991, Rudy also obtained a Master of Public Administration from the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University, and also a Master of Science in Management was obtained from the Sloan School of Management, MIT, in 1992. In terms of work experience, Rudy has a lot of experience in the business world, including as Vice President Maintenance and Engineering, Chief of the GMF, Garuda Maintenance Facility, in 1988 to 1990s. Then, as a founder and Chief Executive Officer, CEO, at PT Indonesian Airlines from 1999 to 2006. Rudy also was chairman of the board of PT Merpati Nusantara Airline in 2012, and then became CEO until 2013. Rudy also worked as a senior advisor at Arthur D. Little Consulting from 2017 to 2020. And from 2017 until now, Rudy is also the founder and CEO at PT Equity Management Technology, or Equitex. For the academic accountability report, Rudy Setyopurnomo with the student ID 390-21005 with the dissertation title on the Hospital Strategy Execution System by Maximizing Daily EBITDA to Enhance the Operation Performance and Profitability. The brief description of the dissertation, the Rudy's dissertation research is motivated to answer the urgent and critical challenge in navigating the complexity of hospital operation while achieving operational performance and profitability target. This problem is closely related to the nature of hospital operation, which have many aspects, including business processes, management, clinical pathways, and health service ethics. This study aims to design a hospital system that must implement a simplified strategy implementation framework that display clear key performance indicators or KPIs, and then the same time allows each staff member to consider themselves as an important component of the hospital's success. For this purpose, the daily earning before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization or EBITDA method is used as the central of KPI. The field of research, study, and methodology used, Rudy Setyopurnomo dissertation research at SBM is under the Business Risk and Finance or BRF expertise group. The research method used is based on the hypothesis that EBITDA is the most relevant indicator for managing hospital operation. In addition to the main KPI in the form of EBITDA, the researchers also created a set of operational management tools, the EBITDA matrix, capacity matrix, and EBITDA 3, designed to optimize daily EBITDA and simplify hospital management processes. This methodology aims to improve general management practice by implementing standard procedures that emphasize the business process management or BPM and time-driven activity-based costing or TDABC method. In clinical environment, maximizing EBITDA is an important responsibility for hospital management. This proposed new system will complement the patient-responsible physician or DPJP in Indonesia, and with the EBITDA matrix, it is expected to further empower them to make ethical health care decisions independently following the corridor of health service ethics without interference from upper level management. The important one is the transparency throughout the process is critical as it allows for assessment of decision making in evaluation of result using the EBITDA matrix, capacity matrix, and EBITDA 3. This ongoing evaluation fits into the continuous improvement program. Then the next step, the researchers conducted a quantitative evaluation of the survey to support his findings. After implementing the strategic program in several hospitals, the researchers documented significant improvement in the hospital strategy implementation, and the results were formulated into this innovation strategy implementation system, validating his hypothesis through the case studies conducted in real-world hospital environment. For the review of the scientific contribution of the dissertation, the contribution of this study are manifold. Firstly, the study significantly contributes to the establishment of a simple strategy execution framework, transforming strategic initiative and EBITDA target into tangible, actionable plans for day-to-day business processes. Secondly, this systematic approach not only helps leaders and employees foster a more effective hospital culture and infrastructure, but also drives organization toward improved performance and greater profitability. Thirdly, this research focuses on how to empowering hospital to execute their strategies more effectively in an operational context. The study aims to make significant contribution to the field of management science by deepening the understanding of strategic execution and operational management in hospital. And lastly, ultimately by concentrating On these critical areas, the study aims to equip healthcare institutions to remain resilient and sustainable amidst time of uncertainty and changes. The publication that have been produced regarding this dissertation research, there are two papers published in journal Scopus Quartile 1, Scopus Q1, with the title Enhancing Operation Effectiveness by Maximizing Daily EBITDA as a Turnaround Strategy Execution System to Enhance Operation Performance and Profitability, published in the Journal of Open Innovation, Technology, Market and Complexity in 2024. The second publication, also in the Scopus Quartile 1, is with the title Incorporating Earned Value Management into Income Statement to Improve Project Management Profitability and Elevate Application in the Business and Management, in the PLOS ONE journal in this year, 2025. Okay, it's all, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chief Promoter. Now, could you please invite doctoral candidate to attend of the session? Doctoral candidate, are you healthy enough to perform this dissertation defense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you are given 20 minutes to present your dissertations, and we are continue with question and answer. It's time for you now.
Esteemed Professor and Doctors, ladies and gentlemen, I'm deeply grateful to have this opportunity to present my dissertation in this esteemed environment of the School of Business and Management at Bandung Institute of Technology. Your expertise and insight is not only important but also crucial to the development of my dissertation. The title of my dissertation is Hospital Strategy Execution System by Maximizing Daily EBITDA to Enhance Operation Performance and Profitability. With your permission, I would like to begin this presentation. This is the background of my dissertation. Indonesia has more than 3,000 hospitals that serve 285 people across Indonesia. This is in Java. In Jakarta, we have 200 hospitals. In West Java, we have 400 hospitals. In Bandung, we have 33 hospitals. This is in Sumatra, in Sulawesi, Kalimantan, and this is Maluku and Papua, and also Bali and Nusa Tenggara. I consider this as our responsibility to help hospitals to manage their entity well, to serve the healthcare best of Indonesia. But this is a problem. The EBITDA margin is a measure of efficiency and productivity of the hospital. A group of hospitals have EBITDA margin negative. EBITDA margin negative means that they cannot pay the operating costs from their operating revenue. On the other side, we have a group of hospitals to enjoy managing the hospital. They can grow, they can develop 25 hospitals in the province. And like for instance here, Siloam Hospital and also Ciputra, they can reach 40% EBITDA margin. We have to help the group of hospital in the right or left side to the right. We can do it if we are ready, willing, and able. To be able to help this hospital, we can see this. The case unit analysis is hospital business strategy execution system. And the phenomena is many hospitals cannot deliver the operation profit and performance. And the research problem is strategy execution is complex. In addition, operation management in hospital is complex. That include general management and also clinical pathway that intertwine with the clinical ethics. So many hospitals use too many indicators. Some of the hospitals use 50 KPI, but this KPI cannot overcome the complexity. So we want to have the group of the system to provide hospital operation system and deliver better performance. Level of analysis is strategy execution system, and then we have to find a way to overcome the complexity, and we also study the proper indicator for the operation, which is under control of the operation management, in this case, the general manager and also doctor in charge. Based on this, we can develop the tools of management and also framework for the strategy execution. The context is in the largest hospital in Indonesia, Dr. Cipto Mangunkusumo, with the patient more than 1.6 million people annually. In addition, we have the Dr. Wahidin Sudirohusodo Hospital in South Sulawesi, and also smaller hospital, regional hospital that include army and also police hospital. The contribution, the EBITDA max, can be used as management knowledge for the hospital development and management. Research objective, we have to explore the complexity of strategy execution. Then we have to find a way to reduce the complexity, and also then to find the single indicator that we will use, the appropriateness of EBITDA as an operation profitability objective. Then we develop the model and also the hypothesis. Finally, we have to test the model and hypothesis. This is the research question that related to the objective. You can see the key assumption, research limitation, novelty, and originality. The assumption is hospital operation activity is primary activity and support activity that include general management and also clinical pathway that intertwine with the healthcare ethics. This is specific for the hospital. And limitation, we focus on the EBITDA in every business process of the hospital. It doesn't cover corporate strategy growth like merger and acquisition that may need other indicator. The novelty is using EBITDA as primary KPI, create alignment, focus, and unity, sense of ownership of the people, including the worker, for focusing in the target. EBITDA matrix, capacity matrix, and EBITDA 3 dashboard reveal the operation efficiency, productivity, profit in every business process at any time. And originality is come from ourselves. The literature review, we try to answer the first research question, the clarity of strategy, which is the strategy execution complexity that include clarity, leadership, and culture, and how to mitigate this one. We have to translate the strategy program into business process and the objective into the target. But we have to find the way, which target? The target is solely under control of the hospital operation. In this case, we can find the EBITDA as the proper indicator for the hospital operation. Based on this, then we can develop using the BPM and TDABC, we have developed the tools of the management and also framework for the strategy execution. Finally, we will test the model and hypothesis. Strategy execution is complex. 95% of employees do not understand strategy. So how they can help management if they do not understand? The complexity is including clarity of strategy, leadership, and also culture and system that include alignment, focus, communication, coordination, cooperation, engagement, agility, and talent. This is the barrier for the strategy execution. Because of this, some of the scholars developed the system that include Kaplan and Norton at the time, developed balanced scorecard. But in 2007, Kaplan and Norton mentioned that balanced scorecard with too many indicators is difficult to manage. As a result, still 66 to 75% of the entity fail to execute strategy. And the result is not so good. Based on the literature, we have to understand how to overcome this strategy complexity. We have to translate strategy program into the business plan and also business process. In addition, we have to translate the objective into the target. To find the right target, we have to define the person in charge in the operation, which is general manager, and also doctor in charge. Within their authority, we can find the authority of the person in charge is EBITDA. Besides that, we have to make the business process more efficient using business process management and make the business process more transparent to avoid information asymmetry using time-driven activity-based costing. Based on the BPM, TDA, BC, and EBITDA, then we can develop that tool, EBITDA matrix. But before we go further, we explore the EBITDA as a proper hospital operation profitability KPI using 7 steps of income statement and decision authority. This is sales, generate revenue, minus direct operating cost become gross profit minus indirect operating cost become EBITDA, minus depreciation and amortization become EBIT or operating profit, minus the interest become EBT, EBT minus the tax become net profit, minus dividend become retained earning. This is interesting. The activity from depreciation up to the dividend is under control of the board of directors. The activity that's under control operation is up to EBITDA. So how, no matter the diligently the operation people work, the optimum, the ultimate financial result is EBITDA. EBITDA is productivity frontier for the operation. Based on this, we can develop hypothesis that EBITDA is a proper indicator for the operation. And then we can develop EBITDA metrics and capacity metric, where we put the business process in the horizontal axis and financial measure, revenue, cost, and EBITDA in vertical axis. Then we can manage planned EBITDA and also actual EBITDA on a daily basis. Then we can also use the EBITDA capacity metric to manage the capacity of resources, man, machine, material, and vertical axis. Then we can see where is the overcapacity and bottleneck across the business process to find the optimum capacity utilization for maximizing EBITDA. In addition, we have EBITDA 3 dashboard to create transparency that prevent manipulation actually. In every unit, we have EBITDA. EBITDA of the director is the sum of EBITDA division and sum of the EBITDA unit. Based on this, we can put the target, EBITDA target top down, but we have a bottom up actual EBITDA. This EBITDA 3 dashboard improve oversight, unified the alignment from the strategy to the operation. The top-down approach and is also can be used for managing daily EBITDA. So specifically in the hospital, we have clinical pathway that does not exist in other industry like mining or other finance. This clinical pathway is important. Clinical pathway is evidence-based. They are based on the best available evidence clinical guidelines. And this multidisciplinary, they involve collaboration among various healthcare professionals to ensure coordinated care. And it is standardized to provide a standardized approach to treatment, ensuring consistency and care delivery. Finally, it outcome focus. They define every outcome and milestone in every step of the care process. To execute this clinical pathway, we have to follow the clinical ethics, which is the beneficent, the moral obligation of a healthcare provider to act on the best interest of the patient. Secondly, non-maleficent, do not harm the patient. Thirdly, autonomy, the right of the patient to choose their own treatment. And finally, justice, fairness of the distribution of healthcare resources and treatment. So based on this, we can develop the hospital operation framework. Strategy has to translate into the EBITDA metrics and EBITDA capacity metrics for strategy execution. But before we execute strategy, we have to understand the time lag between the strategy planning and execution take a long time, sometimes 9 months, 6 months, 3 months. It creates dynamic environment change that create the risk. To mitigate the risk, we propose to have a daily simulation to create optimized, standardized operation plan. This is to mitigate the risk because the time lag between the planning and execution is only 1 day. After the execution, we have the feedback to the operation and also daily plan and also long-term plan. This is operation system. Beside operation system, we have management system, how to manage the meeting and so on. Then based on this, we have the strategy execution using PLS and SBM. This is the independent variable, strategy clarity, and also mediating variable, leadership, and also culture is a mediating variable. Then we have to insert here the moderating variable, EBITDA max, to have a better result of the execution, which is the dependent variable. Based on this, we can have the model that from the Ibu Bangun literature, that there is a relationship between strategy, leadership, and culture and result. Then we insert here moderating variable EBITDA max to improve the result. Based on this, we can develop hypothesis relationship between every variable. We have really a hypothesis between strategy and leadership, strategy and culture, strategy and EBITDA max. So we have hypothesis that we will test during this research. The research methodology, we use the pragmatism philosophy and deductive for developing model and hypothesis, inductive to create construct the theory based on the finding, and research strategy is multiple embedded case study and survey. And Dr. Cipto Mangunkusumo, Dr. Wahidin, and also some regional hospital. The research choice is qualitative and quantitative, using interview and survey, and we have the time horizon cross-section. Qualitative result, we prepare a protocol. In this case, we have consolidated criteria of reporting qualitative research that are correct. This is the interviewee that includes CFO, COO, Director of Hospitalization, Director of Laboratory, Director of Pharmacy, and also Manager of Information, Manager of Medical Record, Manager of Heart Surgery. And the credential is Bachelor of Economics, Master of Management, also Professor and Doctor in Clinical Pathology. So we believe this represents the management of hospital well. This is the research reliability. We conduct construct reliability, internal validity, external validity, and reliability. The qualitative and quantitative result. This is the qualitative result based on the interview using 5 scale, Likert scale, factor of influence strategy, how to overcome the complexity, EBITDA as a proper indicator, and to develop model and also application. The construct, we have the loading factor, above the threshold of 0.7 and also p-value below 0.05. So the construct is good. Based on this, we can do the testing of the direct and indirect relationship coefficient for two hospitals, Dr. Cipto and Dr. Wahidin. Indirect relationship between strategy and other variable, we can see here, and also from leadership to culture and from EBITDA max to the culture. Indirect relationship, we have indirect relationship between strategy to other variable. This is to culture, and also from strategy to result. We can see here, including the direct relationship from the EBITDA max. We notice here, the relationship with the leadership and culture to the result is weak. So it means that leaders and also the culture need a system of management execution to execute strategy. This is consistent with the next testing for all hospitals. We have similar result. Similar result in this case that in order to execute strategy, because it is clarity strategy, because of the complexity, we need a strategy execution system, in the case EBITDA max, to improve the result. Otherwise, there is no small effect between leadership and culture. This is the research summary. The research problem is complexity of strategy execution, which is clarity of strategy, and then leadership and culture and system that include alignment, focus, communication, coordination, cooperation, engagement, agility, and talent. And this is the including general management and clinical pathway. We understand that too many indicators so far used by a hospital cannot overcome the complexity. And this is the research objective. We have 5 research objectives, and the result is that clarity of strategy influences leadership and culture. To overcome the complexity, we use the EBITDA max in this case to translate the program and target. And also we found that EBITDA is proper indicator, then we can then develop EBITDA max. EBITDA max will help the manager and also leader to execute strategy because it is clear. The step by step is very clear. So leader and also culture, this organization is very easy to execute strategy and with a good result. We notice here the direct relationship between culture and leaders is weak in this time. That's why this is a model validation of the research model. They demonstrate high reliability and validity, revealing significant correlation between strategy clarity, leadership, and execution outcome. The discussion, conclusion, and future research, strategy execution complexity factors are clarity of strategy, leadership, culture, and system. To overcome strategy, we can use the EBITDA max. Hospital operations are complex that involve general management and also clinical pathway that intertwine with the healthcare ethics. EBITDA max application and clinical pathway empower doctor in charge to balance between profitability target and healthcare ethics. EBITDA max empower leader to manage organization's culture to improve the operation performance and profitability. Future result is proposal of the application of EBITDA max in other contexts, and also broaden the scope, including interest, tax depreciation for strategy, corporate strategy growth. And then this is academic and practical contribution. The EBITDA as a primary KPI of operation, controlled by operation PIC, fostering unity, shared responsibility, and financial result. Overcoming strategy execution complexity using EBITDA metric, capacity metric, and EBITDA board, EBITDA 3 dashboard is very important. EBITDA max as a management knowledge, vital resources in knowledge management in the hospital to develop management in the hospital. And practical contribution is that EBITDA and capacity metrics, EBITDA 3 dashboard enable manager to enhance performance and profitability. Balancing clinical and financial performance, the EBITDA and capacity metric allow the doctor in charge to align clinical decision with financial implication, ensuring ethical healthcare practice while maintaining profitability. EBITDA transparency in every business process, avoid information asymmetry, and prevent operation manipulation. This concludes my presentation. I'm ready to answer any question to clarification, and I hope to can answer to find your academic expectation. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the session is continued with question and comments. First, I would like to ask the external examiner, Professor Rudy Wiwiko, to deliver some question or comment, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. So first of all, I'd like to congratulations, Pak Rudy, for very excellent presentations and also exceptional dissertations and very insightful dissertation. For me, I'm a clinician actually, and also taking part also in some part of hospital management. I think given introduction your concept about EBITDA max, which is comprising with the EBITDA matrix, capacity matrix, and EBITDA 3, really interesting for us in the hospital, because we know that hospital management is very complex. Not only we talk not only about profitability, but also enriched with ethical issue. You mentioned as well on your presentation. So I will challenge your concept about EBITDA max with the 3 questions. Based on your dissertation and your paper, I imagine that if we put the hospital with the concept EBITDA max, it looks like we put every patient, taking care every patient in ICU, intensive care unit, because we do your concept doing intensive monitoring and also intensive management or intensive care to the hospital. So based on your result and also your experience, actually what kind of hospitals is really appropriate to be managed by EBITDA max concept? This is the healthy financial hospital, or in the middle hospital, or every hospital will be appropriate to manage by your concept?
Professor, may I answer this first question before you proceed?
Please.
Thank you. This concept can be used in every hospital, including the government hospital, because we haven't defined which EBITDA margin target for the application in the ICU. Like for instance, we put EBITDA in every business process. In Dr. Cipta Mangunkusumo, if the person want to have put a ring heart surgery, there's a cost of every ring differently. So we can define how many patients you will treat, take care, using the most expensive ring, or you can choose the cost less rings for many hospitals. We just give the information to the clinician that every decision they have the number. So in every prescription there is some money. So they can define themselves to choose the right decision. In this case, we give the information for the clinician to make decision. We don't touch the area of clinical pathway from the management side. So during the clinical treatment, the management of hospital put away, like a pilot flying the aircraft. During the bad weather, the decision is on the pilot. The director and the board director cannot do nothing. So we gave back the authority to the doctor in charge to make the best decision in accordance with this information. So this is the way to use the EBITDA max for application. Then using the EBITDA matrix, EBITDA 3 dashboard, you can see which part of the organization can raise more revenue to subsidize other division. Using that overview, you can make decision. Like for instance, in Dr. Cipto Mangunkusumo, the Kencana is very profitable. We can extend the Kencana service to more rooms, something like that. And even we can put the branding for Kencana, like Rumah Sakit Cilincing managed by Kencana. This is very important. So like hotel in Indigo managed by Hilton, something like that. The branding, using this their tools, the management of the hospital can find a way, the best way for strategic.
Okay, thank you so much. So the next question also related with the clinical pathway you mentioned as well on your presentations. Because we know the main business of the hospital is giving excellent services to the patient, providing the best outcome for the patients. And in our hospital, we know we recognize the clinical pathway, and then in the clinical pathway, we use technology. Technology can the drugs, medicines, or procedures in medicine, or medical device that actually has been assessed by health technology assessment, that this concept cost-effectiveness analysis, this is cost-effective, or this technology can improve the quality of life of the patients better or longer. So somehow in the clinical pathway, we measure not only profit, but also we including the social, the value of the patients. So how your models, your concept, EBITDA max, can also integrate this non-intangible value in the hospital care?
Yes, this is like we have the vertical hospital in the Department of Health. They use the subsidy. At least using EBITDA max, we make sure that every subsidy will go to the right place. So there is no manipulation because everything is transparent. So benefit can be translated into the financial in some level, because you have also the indicator, financial indicator is universal indicator actually. But the decision is up to the management, whether we will use the lower profit but giving more benefit to the patient, or higher profit with less benefit. This is decision of the management, but at least in every business process, they understand the cost and benefit. Cost benefit is EBITDA.
Okay, thank you. One last question. Is it still okay? Okay. The one last questions. In the world, we know the terminology world-based hospital. Unfortunately, the criteria of world-based hospital is not included profitability. Profit is not as a variable for assessing world-based hospital. The world-based hospital, the criteria, there are 3 criteria. Number 1, the hospital that has best talent that providing good outcome for the patients. And then the second thing, the hospital that did a lot of new research. And then the last, the hospital that did a lot of new treatment for the patients. So there is no profit as assessment, as indicator for world-based hospital. So do you believe that if the hospital in Indonesia using your concept, EBITDA max, our hospital can compete to be the best in the world?
Using EBITDA is basic. If your EBITDA risk level is enough, then you can add more indicator. But if your EBITDA is negative, you cannot do nothing. EBITDA negative, the cost of the operation beyond revenue from the operation, you just stop the hospital. So adding more indicator is important after a certain level of EBITDA achievement. So this is the concept. So this is actually for the turnaround of the hospital. After the certain level of EBITDA, you can put more indicator for the better performance to reach other objectives and also vision.
Before I conclude my question, how long actually we need the time to behavior changes, cultural changes in the hospital to adopt your concept?
My experience in small hospital in Banten, Krakatau Medica, they improve EBITDA margin from negative 2% into 30% in 6 months because the commitment of the BOD. But if BOD there is no commitment, maybe take a longer time. But I find a way how to speed up this one. Firstly, all of the hospitals should declare their EBITDA 3 dashboard to the shareholder. So shareholder not only have the total EBITDA margin, but they know EBITDA margin in every process. For the vertical hospital in the Department of the Healthcare, they can compare between hospital. Like for instance, the pharmacy cost, because how much the pharmacy cost in this, so they can learn each other. Firstly, make it transparent, because transparency makes it efficiency.
Thank you very much. I really satisfied with your outstanding answer. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You still have 5 minutes. Do you want to use it?
Did it already.
All right, let's move on the rest of the testing team. Junita Nainggolan, it's time for you.
Thank you, Professor Dermawan. Thank you so much for the opportunity for me to raise questions on your dissertation, Pak Rudy, and thank you also for the presentation and well done for completing an amazing journey, I think, in your doctoral, and you also have had like great publication. So I would like to clarify a few questions related to your dissertation. So you have questions that I believe based on the related theories, especially in terms of the corporate finance or financial performance, and also in the context of healthcare management. And also you have shown the direct and indirect relationship using the statistic analysis. However, I think I still want to understand what has been found in the literature, what theory has been found, and I feel like is quite not really novelty in it. It's like the framework that you mentioned about how leadership, how culture, how strategy will affect the performance. That's already there in the theory of management. And what is different or what is missing in the literature that you think perhaps in the context of healthcare management is still not yet developed. That's why there's an urgency for you to solve using the context of Indonesian hospital. So please clarify again the hypothesis that you test based on the related theories and also current literature, and also how are you going to solve it? I mean, why you have to use those methodology? Why not the other methodology? Thank you. Maybe that's first.
Thank you, Dr. Junita Nainggolan. In the theory, there is ways to overcome the complexity is translating strategy into operation plan and also to the business process. Then the objective into target. This is only first step. Translating this is only cover alignment and focus. Then during the application, the people, the board of directors, including the doctor in charge, they will develop EBITDA metrics using clinical pathway. Developing EBITDA metrics, that means that they have to talk each other between operation and also finance. Because EBITDA metrics is based on the in the horizontal axis we have business process, where the doctor in charge understands very much about the business process of clinical pathway, but doctor in charge do not understand the value of money. So there is a communication between finance, accounting, a doctor in charge, and also here with the logistic, there is communication, coordination, that's happened. But it's not only translating with overcome strategy, but doing it, application in EBITDA and the hospital, with create communication, coordination, and agility. That's why this is not in the literature. So we mentioned here that also this is a capacity metric. Like for instance, if we want to do the operation, how many resources we have, how many doctors, how many machine, how many nurse, how much the medicine we have. With this project, they can. To create this, they have to communicate each other with the logistics and everything. So just application of this epidemics by translating strategy is only cover the alignment, focus, and the rest is during the application and practical. This is
All right. So you mentioned about communication. Yeah. So is it based on your experience and then you tested that? So by formula, EBITDA showed the earnings which consists of, like you have shown, revenues minus expenses, yeah, including the cost of goods sold, which is just direct operating expenses, and then also the other non-operating expenses. So this means this already implicitly show the communication between the production, the marketing, and also the operating. How do you see that this is not showing the communication? Because by itself, the EBITDA has showed the relationship, yeah, between the division in terms of the quantitative or financial report or measures.
Yes, but application of the EBITDA in every business process is not existent yet. This is our finding. EBITDA application in every business process, so every perception of the doctor will have the EBITDA. So apply. So this is very important for the doctor in charge to make a better decision. So they will understand the financial impact in every decision. This is like.
All right. So in terms of the communication, how do you test that hypothesis? You want to argue that communication is the weakness between those units, right? So how do you test that through your methodology?
Well, in this case, the communication is part of culture. Okay. So communication is part of the culture and system variable. We have the hypothesis. I have this is hypothesis EBITDA. This is hypothesis for the communication, including this clarity of strategy, and then the communication is within the culture and system. This is the complexity, and this is the EBITDA. The detailed communication is the factors that including the variable of the culture, as I bundle it.
Okay, so but it's not explicitly shown there in the hypothesis. Maybe the next question is, can you show your conceptual framework? Your conceptual framework that you test for your hypothesis, and can you explain how that framework feel or contribute to the current theories, especially in finance?
This is the framework that we test. The finance is in here and also here, the EBITDA. We use the EBITDA as a proper indicator for the operation. And we can see that the relations between leadership and culture to the EBITDA the result is weak. So they have to have the system, whether it is the EBITDA max or a balance scorecard, they have to system, because a leader and also culture system cannot just execute the RKAP directly. They have to make the system. They cannot execute the annual plan directly. So the finance is in this case.
Yeah. Can you specifically mention about what theory in finance?
Theory in finance?
Yeah, in corporate finance theory.
Well, actually, I just use EBITDA as a indicator for the operation.
Okay, so that might be related to the financial performance ratios, and then you can relate that to the other financial performance measures. And how do you think this can be different to the financial performance measurements?
Okay.
Last question. You mentioned about that you divide between the EBITDA from revenues to until it is paid to the shareholders, and you mentioned that the BOD's authority is only after the EBITDA.
Yes.
And before that, it's not under the control or the authority of board of directors. Can you clarify that again? Because revenue is supposed to be a part of the strategic management direction, because that's what makes the firms growing, and that's where the board of directors will get the bonus and how they can maximize the shareholders' wealth.
Okay.
So can you clarify why you said that there is no control of the revenue up to the EBITDA from board of directors authority?
Like
so
for
that's
instance,
very extreme argument.
In the airline, board of directors cannot control the pilot get revenue in bad weather, whether they will land directly back to Jakarta or divert to Surabaya. It's a decision of the pilot. And also in a clinical pathway, during the emergency, the director cannot make anything. It depends on the person in charge. In bahasa Indonesia, EBITDA is setoran taksi. The setoran is depend on the driver of the taxi, whether they get the best EBITDA or not. So that they need information whether a demonstration happens, so they avoid director just receive EBITDA. That's a clear. Board of director cannot do nothing about the treatment, cannot do nothing about this one. They can influence a long term, like raising salary, give him bonus, but they receive EBITDA. So EBITDA target is defined by the board of directors, whether they want to have defined EBITDA margin 50% or 20%, and above that 20% they will give bonus to the people. This decision, the policy, but the operation is under the operation authority.
So the BOD cannot interfere the operation strategy?
On a daily basis, no. Daily EBITDA.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Professor Dermawan.
All right, thank you very much. And then the next opportunity given to Professor Donald. Time for you now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, congratulations for your achievement, yeah, Pak, as well as your educational journey. You have 4 masters, right, from Harvard and MIT. Wonderful. And you're still willing to learn at your age right now. Inspiring, Pak, yeah. So yes, your research is a very strong practical application, offering EBITDA metrics, competition metrics, EBITDA 3, yeah, as the effective tools to manage the complexity of hospital operations. You also try to tackle very complex and many dimensions of the management functions. Yet you also try to simplify it. So I have 3 questions. First, you start your research questions by seeing from the phenomenon. So you see from the data, you see from the phenomenon, the complex operations, rather than you see from the complex literature review. From what I see, so it is one that should be dictated the initiating of the qualitative research approach. But I also wonder, have you done the literature, what the literature have said about this? So I want to know about 3 things that you usually do. What are the underlying theory, the grand theory that you refer, and what are the school of thoughts from that theory, and then what are the findings and applications, the state of the art of the research.
Thank you, Professor Donald Lantu. The theory, firstly, actually, my research dissertation title is only Strategy Execution System by Maximizing Daily EBITDA. But after being acquainted with the hospital, it is sad that not too many management touch that area. So I ask permission to Professor Sudarso, Dr. Yuliani, Dr. Subiakto to add this one, this hospital. This is specific actually. In hospital, it is in 3 levels. Level 3 is general management and also clinical pathway. Level 2 is hotel, general management, and also the people staying in the hotel. So the first level is general management. But in this case, the general management in hospital hidden to the complexity of hospital. Why the hospital is not performing well? Because actually general management in the hospital is similar to general manager to other business. Similar, but they hidden in the clinical pathway difficulty. So to answer your question, actually I use this firstly, the strategy execution complexity. From this, we can see many literature that they have to translate the strategy into operation plan. That's all. But I go forward into business process and into the program, into process, and also target into the EBITDA. Secondly, to translate to the business process, where then we combine with business process management, BPM theory of business process management. And then to make it more transparent, to avoid its information asymmetry, we study agency theory. Agency theory to avoid information asymmetry. Like for instance, if we can understand the agency theory combined with time-driven activity-based costing, then we can understand the EBITDA or revenue or cost in every business process. This is transparent. In other area of the industry, like for instance in business mining operation, the project management using different language. They are using earned value management, something like that. When the people from finance asking, how much is the profit of your process? They cannot understand. They only the achievement of the target and also the use of the cost. Because they will combine the agency of theory and time-driven activity. So the study is including time-driven activity-based costing and also agency theory to avoid information asymmetry. By giving the information of the EBITDA in every business process, it becomes transparent. Everybody can understand the profitability. The agency theory. And in addition, we also combine the clinical pathway. I just learned from the review of Professor Budi Wiweko. I have to add more literature about the clinical. Currently, I am helping the Rumah Sakit Cipta Mangunkusumo and also the Rumah Sakit Husada applying this in that area.
Yeah, thank you, Pak. So, you mentioned many theories and concepts, but I want you to put the underlying theory, the grand theory. So, if I'm not mistaken, from the title as well as the research questions, yeah, from your dissertations, I see the keyword is EBITDA and performance management. So if I refer to this, yeah, he also mentions a lot of performance management school of thought. Like for example, so you have the underlying theory, for example, performance management. I'm sorry if Pak Dermawan maybe can correct me, yeah, because Pak Dermawan is the professor of performance management. So if the underlying theory is the performance management, and then you have the school of thought, the derivative of the grand theories. You have BSC, balance scorecard, you know. You have other approach as well, maybe in finance. In finance, we have some derivative as well, cash flow, EBITDA, activity-based costing, and you also have another school of thought in business process management. So these are the things that I'm looking for, yeah. So why do you choose EBITDA from the performance management, the underlying theory, and then you have the school of thoughts, yeah, the derivative from the theory is school of thoughts, BSG, activity-based finance or business process management. So from this analysis, yeah, so why you choose EBITDA? Daily EBITDA max.
Okay.
So is it the state of the art of this research findings?
Yes, actually. I have the slide actually. Balance scorecard have 4 perspectives. Financial perspective, and then customer perspective,
Yes.
business process, and learning growth. Kaplan Norton is accountant. They start from learning and growth. How to recruit the people, to best people, and train the people, and with a good organization, they create a good business process. Business process perspective. This is efficiency, productivity. Then they will satisfy the customer. They will have the customer perspective. Customer perspective, they then generate finance revenue, then finance perspective. I connect to the EBITDA. Learning and growth consume indirect cost. Business process consume direct costs. Consumer marketing generate revenue. Revenue minus direct operating costs minus indirect operating EBITDA. So it's actually this backwards of the balance scorecard back to single indicator EBITDA. So EBITDA actually EBITDA is revenue, which is customer perspective, minus direct operating cost, which is business process perspective, minus indirect operating cost, which is learning and growth perspective. EBITDA is finance perspective. Actually, this single indicator can also represent this balance scorecard in my finding. After they reach the certain level of EBITDA, they can put more indicator. Otherwise, they will struggle with managing too many indicator, but still, thousands of hospitals negative maybe the margin. This is the problem. May I explain some experience in other industry? In mining industry, coal mining industry, they have EBITDA margin, EBITDA negative $2 billion a day. And equity negative 1 trillion. Then the owner asked me to help, I applied this. Within 4 months, the EBITDA from negative $2 billion rupiah a day to $1 million to be 500 million a day in 4 months. And also in airline, and also in ISDP, EBITDA is 600 million rupiah, where we apply this, become 1 trillion rupiah in 6 months. So they focus to EBITDA until certain level, then they add more indicator to have a better performance. That's the experience.
Yeah, what I'm talking about is in the literature review rather than in findings. So I want you to show the comprehensive discussions from your literature review analysis. So yeah, that the thing maybe you can add for your dissertation. Okay. Secondly is about the methodology. You mentioned that you use combination of qualitative and quantitative research. So based on your research questions, you using multiple case studies. You start from the qualitative.
I start from the quantitative, but after Dr. Bibeko review my dissertation, he proposed to have quantitative. Then I apply quantitative.
So
quantitative first. Quantitative first, then qualitative.
So your model is from the literature review?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I thought from your research questions, you start from the problem, and then you try to dig in, about the EBITDA, and then you build your model from the qualitative, the interview that you use from the multiple case studies, and then you try to validate that model you want to generate, so the model can be applied to any hospital, right?
Yes.
So that's the thing that you start from qualitative. Because
Actually,
of your
my testing is from quantitative first, then qualitative. I didn't conduct qualitative first, but I do quantitative first.
But I can see the research question from quantitative. What is the research question from the quantitative?
Yes, quantitative and also qualitative.
So what is the research question for the quantitative approach?
I think I use quantitative using the survey. We also use this as a structured interview for qualitative. We have to interview in qualitative. During structured interview, I use the questionnaire from quantitative. Then I have the unstructured interview for they to explain qualitatively.
So are you using quantitative and qualitative methodology or are you using quantitative and qualitative data?
Both. I think you using both.
So are you talking about methodology or data?
Methodology, I use also qualitative and quantitative. For the qualitative, I prepare also protocol and also correct qualitative research checklist for this.
So you can use qualitative approach of methodology,
Yes.
and you can have quantitative data and qualitative data. You can have survey, you can have interview as well.
Yes.
So the question is, what is the methodology you use?
Methodology, I use
Is it qualitative or both qualitative and quantitative?
both qualitative and quantitative.
But I can see the research questions relating with the quantitative.
For the quantitative,
Yes.
I think I have the research question for that.
How do you generate the research question for the
From the theory of the model, or from the hypothesis actually.
the hypothesis?
Yes.
How do you generate the hypothesis?
The hypothesis.
Yes.
The relationship between variable between clarity of strategy and also the leadership, clarity of strategy with culture. Within the culture, there is the factors that include the alignment, focus, communication, coordination, cooperation, agility. It is factor. I have the question, every single of factor, whether it is affecting the result or not during the quantitative test.
So have you
During the survey.
analyzed the literature of leadership
Yes.
comprehensively?
Yes.
Can you see the? Can
Okay.
you show me the comprehensive literature related with the model?
This is literature review. We have the study about the complexity of strategy and institutional context. Then we can see here and the study on the execution complexity. Yes, we have a clarity of strategy, leadership, corporate leadership. In this case, we have the complexity of clarity of strategy. This is from some literature. This is for leadership, and this is for alignment, and this is for the focus. This is the literature review that I have for the communication, and this is coordination, this cooperation and collaboration, and then based on this we can develop the talent competency, and we can develop the latent variable that include the clarity of strategy. This is latent variable for leadership. This is latent variable for the culture and system. And also, we also cite this from my previous paper that more comprehensively explore this theory. So I cite my two papers that initially explore more detail about this theory.
Do you have your SOTA?
Yes. Actually, I have the list of SOTA behind, after the dissertation. I put the list also there.
Okay, I can see later on. Yeah, what I see is I think you are doing a qualitative research, but the data is combination of quantitative and qualitative, rather than the quantitative alone, and then you employ the qualitative. Okay, lastly is about the implications. Since you state clearly that the problem is about the complexity of the managing the operations as well as the profitability, right?
Yes.
But on the other hand, implications of this research, have you identified about the potential risks and how do you mitigate this, especially about, you mentioned several times about the ethics, right? And then the second one is about the quality of the treatment, the service to the patient. So have you integrate these factors, ethics and the quality of the treatment into the dashboard? So I wonder about how the decision making made by the unit or the group are decided when they have the class of interest. So maybe in one patient it could be profitable, but then the quality of the treatment or even the ethics is maybe violated. So how the person in charge make decisions?
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, in the hospital, it is more advanced. Especially in the clinical treatment, doctor always plan on the daily basis what kind of treatment tomorrow will be done. During the treatment, they also control. After the treatment, they have a feedback meeting daily, not daily, but after the operation, they always have the gathering to discuss about the clinical treatment. What is missed is EBITDA. There is no EBITDA there. But the process, business process, from the planning, execution, and feedback, they have procedures, detail in this. This is very good, actually. We can apply this to other industry. So, in inpatient, somebody have the planning for treatment for the lung. The doctor has already planned in detail what kind of treatment, who is the doctor of anesthesia, who is the doctor for the main doctor, what is the medicine. They prepare everything. May I, actually, I adopt this from the operation system. Operation system in the hospital is the best operation, the most efficient operation in the world. Doctor will not do anything before everything is prepared. The scissor or the medicine, the operator, the anesthesia have to be prepared before the operation. It's very efficient. Unfortunately, this operation system in the operation room is not translated to inpatient room, not translated to the pharmacy room. It's not translated. We adopt this. We adopt the operation system and the operation theater. They're very efficient. This is like a pilot before they fly, before the launching of the rocket. Preparation is very perfect, but they miss one, financial. So I just put EBITDA in every process. Doctor now, doctor in Dr. Setyopurnomo, now they compiling all of the business process, clinical pathway. They put as a standard and they need information system. I told them, then don't worry, because information system in developing aircraft in Bandung, Nurtanio, they use 19,000 business process. they can manage. So they can use. So maybe after this, IT from ITB can help the hospital information system for this. But for the operation in the hospital is perfect. But they don't know the finance measure.
Okay, thank you, Pak. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you very much. Our doctoral session continues with question from adversary team. First of all, given to Dr. Subiakto.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pak Rudy, are you tired or? Okay, all right. After the three group of questions, yeah. Pak Rudy, as one of your promoter, I congratulate you for completing your dissertation up until this stage, yeah. However, I still have a couple questions, yeah, for you to address, yeah, in order to further promote you to obtain the full degree, yeah, completely full degree. Yeah, okay, number one is regarding the concept of the EBITDA itself, yeah. If we bring back the financial management theory, yeah, EBITDA is some kind of the measurement of the profit, the profitability, yeah, revenue minus certain expenses, not all expenses there. Yeah, interest is included, depreciation is excluded, something like that. Yeah, so it is not the cash flow measurement. Yeah, it is the some kind of profit. Then, if we take a look the accrual principle, yeah, the accrual principle, you can record profit, yeah, regardless of the cash transaction. So if you monitor the EBITDA, you can maximize some kind of profit, yes, but the cash may not be there also. The cash can be late also. So, okay, profit is important, but if the cash is not there, then, you know, the operation is not sustained, yeah, and then bring a problem. We read in the news also some of the hospital receive lateness in payment from the BPJS, something like that, then it's create problem. And then under the theory also, the goal of the firm, yeah, the goal of the firm is not maximizing profit, maximizing company value, yeah, maximizing shareholder value, where under that concept, we need to maximize the free cash flow, yeah, the EBITDA plus depreciation, and then minus the capex minus the additional working capital. So I have a statement. I want you to comment, yeah, maybe elaborate, yeah, regarding this concept. EBITDA may be important, but it is not enough because eventually, yeah, eventually it has to come to cash flow, especially maximizing value is requires the free cash flow. Yeah, what is your comment there? Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Biakto. Cash flow is cash flow from operation, cash flow from financing, and cash flow from the
Financing.
investment.
Yeah, investment.
Cash flow from operation is EBITDA. If your EBITDA is bad, you can lend from the bank. But if your EBITDA margin is bad, you cannot get any money from investor and also from the bank. So the basic is operating cash flow. Operating cash flow is also important for the net present value. It's very important. We can argue that, okay, we have negative EBITDA margin 20%, you cannot do nothing. You have to improve EBITDA margin first to generate the operating cash flow, then you can prove to the bank that you can work with
Let me interrupt
please.
a little bit, yeah. EBITDA is not I think, yeah, EBITDA is not operating cash flow because cash flow requires the depreciation into there because depreciation is non-cash expense. So depreciation need to be included there.
Yes.
Yeah.
EBITDA is not operating cash flow, but a core operating cash flow. To be the cash flow, they need the payment. The payment, time of payment, which is under control of the finance. I focus on the people that 95% that do not understand the strategy. The people is in this area, 95% of the people are working people. We want to help this area. The scope of this dissertation is on the operation system. We don't touch the payment term and the finance. So we focus on the operation system. Thank you.
Yeah, I remember the earlier slide, the first slide even, yeah. Pak Rudy have the example of Siloam Hospital that have a good margin there, 40%. But unfortunately, Siloam also is listed on the stock market, yeah. And then they got a problem on the stock valuation and things like that. So if we consider into that area, I think EBITDA is not, what do you call it, yeah, is not enough, yeah. Of course, probably for the initial thing that's probably needed, but maybe need other variable to be looked into it. You agree with that?
After the EBITDA margin above the 20%, I think we can add more performance indicator. But if you still 10%, your net profit will be still negative because some of the hospital depreciation and amortization is 11%, 30%. So hospitals who have the EBITDA margin above 20% in order to add more indicator.
Okay, thank you, Pak, for the first question. The second question is regarding the implementation. Most of the hospital or some of the hospital also have the BPJS client, right? So my question is, if you implement the monitoring of the EBITDA max, yeah, maximizing the EBITDA here, under the BPJS scheme, some tariff is being kept, yeah. There is a, threshold for it. And then if there are pressure to maximize the EBITDA, would that be, giving a pressure to perform inadequate service treatment or the lowering service level, something like that? How do you address that on the implementation?
Well, the level of service should not be lowered, the first principle. The BPJS problem is because of the administration to get the money from the BPS is not clear. Some of the administration is lacking. Some of the paper is not complete. That is the fact that we experience in the hospital. Then when they ask the reimbursement from the BPJS, the administration back and forth, it take a long time. The business process management and non-clinical of the hospital actually simple. It's just like other industry, but they hidden in the complexity of the clinical. So my proposal is that general management in the hospital should be make more efficient and productive. Then if we still find that EBITDA still experience negative profit, they can ask to develop the more profitable unit like Kencana. They can generate more revenue without BPJS. So this portfolio management in this kind is only, maybe this unit is, we have the public obligation, where we can create another one, the clinic that It's for the high level, high class people. It's no restriction from the government for this. So by understanding the portfolio of EBITDA, we can assign like Kencana to develop more hospital and including more hospital and other city. We using the branding of Kencana. We can do it.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Rudy. Other things regarding the implementation, yeah. Would there be the opportunity, yeah, when we implement the EBITDA for each unit, yeah, will that allow, the cross-subsidy things? Some activity you cannot create positive EBITDA probably, but we know that this will be compensated. Maybe a lot of Dr. Budi mentioned that this morning, also probably some subsidy coming from the other unit, the other activity, and something like that. How do you, propose to do that things?
Yes, this is the proposal also. To cross-subsidy, including branding to manage other hospital, to use the brand of the good, profitable hospital.
No, what I mean, if we monitor on each unit, then there is a pressure, then on each unit need to maximize their EBITDA, need to perform the positive EBITDA, doesn't it?
Actually, EBITDA cannot be positive in every unit because some unit is actually the support activity. Support activity like finance and also human resources, EBITDA always negative. But EBITDA negative level is managed. Cannot be just negative. If the target is negative 5%, should be managed to improve negative 3%, not the loss to do 20%. So this management of this. So not every unit should be maximized, should be a max EBITDA, but not necessarily to be a positive.
Okay, thank you for your response, Pak Rudy. I think that's all. I give back the session to Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you very much. Next opportunity given to Juliani, PhD.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Dermawan. Pak Rudy, Assalamualaikum. So first of all, I would like to give you appreciations. Finally, you are at this stage, and I'm personally happy to work with you. You have lots of experience and quick and outstanding learner. So very inspiring person for me. Okay, so my first comment, it will be better if you explain in the beginning that your study basically divided into two parts. Right? First is introducing the EBITDA framework, that you use mixed methods, both qualitative and quantitative, and the output you propose to rethink EBITDA metrics, capacity metrics, and also EBITDA tree. And then from there, you use case study and continue with the second one is proving the strategy execution effectiveness, right, by putting the EBITDA concept as the moderating factors. So if you explain about that in the beginning, people won't be confused connecting between these two, because basically you work with two different models in this case. Okay, so Pak Subi already asked a lot of questions in related with the first part of your research. So for me, I'm gonna ask questions for your second part of research. My first question is, since that the research aims to develop models proving the strategy execution effectiveness, of course, we expect to have a generalization of the model that it can be used to any kind of industry. But in fact, industry has different characteristics. We know that you also test this model to other sector, like in logistics. So how do you convince and clarify that the model you develop in figure 12 specifically accommodated the characteristic of industry either in terms of the business process, or perhaps at some point you think about the size or years of experience or any other demographic aspect in that case. So perhaps you can give response for that first question. Page 23 from this documents, the summary, dissertation summary. Yeah. Yes, that one. Yeah.
Okay. This is the clarity of strategy, and this is the leadership, and this is culture and system, and this is EBITDA max. This is factors that construct for this culture. We can see here in the previous proposal from Ibu Bangun, there is a relationship between leadership and result. And this also from culture and result. After we insert the moderating variable, EBITDA max system, this is to overcome the complexity of this variable. Then it seems that leadership and culture relationship to the result is weak. It means that leadership needs a system. This is the board of directors, like for instance, Doktor board of directors, head of the division. This is the people work. They need a system to execute strategy. So, in practical way, what I did actually, I teach every department EBITDA metrics, capacity metrics, and EBITDA 3 dashboard. Every department in here develop EBITDA matrix so they can understand their EBITDA in every process of them. Then they feel, and in our interview, they feel that the EBITDA matrix is very important. This is actually annual planning, strategic planning. Strategic planning is translated into smaller operation plan. Then we translate to the business process. They feel that actually this EBITDA max with the EBITDA matrix, capacity matrix help very much because it eases them on a daily basis. Like for instance, in the inpatient clinical treatment, they understand the EBITDA in every patient every day. They can manage, so they can manage the resources and everything. So practically that's way the model actually, this moderating variable moderate the relationship between the leadership. Previously the arrow is to that direction. By this testing, the arrow is moving from EBITDA max to leadership and also from EBITDA to culture. So
yeah,
this EBITDA max helping leader to execute strategy.
Yeah, I can get the point from that perspective, but what I'm trying to ask is there any adjustment that you did previously when you're dealing with different sector? Let's say in the measurement item, you have the yellow boxes over there, right? The indicators and measurement items. So did you differentiate in some part of the questions when you're dealing with different industry, or you just create standardized instrument? So if that the case, perhaps for somewhere in your report for further study, you can propose comparison or comparative study of different industry. I mean, that's just for input.
Yes.
All right. And then my next question, the second one, my last question actually. So In relation to industry differentiation or diversity of industry types and so on, so if the industry expect to implement the model and the framework that you already propose, is there any requirement or prerequisites that they need to comply with?
Firstly, they have to open their heart to receive this theory and program. They are not refusing. The one that successfully, like SDP, improved from 600 million into 1 trillion because the POD accept this and just do it and focus on this. Because the buying of this model, sometimes some of the company mentioned that your model is good, but I have to change the culture of my company. Then they don't accept this one. Because in this case, every people, every process is very transparent. There is, if Enron using EBITDA, they cannot manipulate the Enron scandal. It does not happen. It is avoid, it is prevent the manipulation of EBITDA because it is on a daily basis they control, they own it, and they feel that they are responsible for this.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Rudy.
All right, so the last opportunity given to promoter, Dr. Sudarto.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am more interested in asking about the practical aspect in the company because in terms of theory or fundamental theory, you have done it well. Yeah? Through SOTA in appendix, actually, the question, Pak, and you could see in your dissertation report and the appendix 3, it's very detailed there. More than 100 references that you cited. Yeah? More than 100, that you 104 that you cited, and this become the fundamental of your research. Why you choose, why you use the EBITDA? Because there is a gap among the more than 100 researchers that using many methods, many tools that not satisfy, of course, your research. Yeah. Okay. Secondly, actually, many workers feel that if they have done their job description, it's enough, regardless of whether the company makes profit or not. But using your tools, your method, using the EBITDA, you motivated, you asking for all the employees to do together and participate and contribute that as small as the job, but they contribute to getting the profit. This one is important, I think. So when you explain about the concept of balance scorecard as Pak Donald asked previously, you see that your EBITDA actually is resume, summarize all the aspect in terms of money. Why in terms of money? Because if we talk about this one is 100 rupiahs or this one is 1,000 rupiah, we conclude easily, okay, this one is more value than this one. So using the monetize of your activity and then your business is very easy. This one is efficient or this one is productive or not, comparing with others. Okay. So based on this fact, that I would like to know about if there any friction that your experience or you feel in the field that when you introduce this concept, this EBITDA method in the company, especially to the company leader, of course, the success of the EBITDA method, yeah, of course, that depend heavily to the participation or the contribution of the employee involved. So, no, please could you describe or explain more detail about that? So that is the real your contribution in practical aspect. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sudarso. My experience is that it is more easy to implement this in the company, that the board of director is responsibility is related to the money. But if the appointment of the board of directors is not according to the merits, they just don't care, and they will not apply this. And so that it is easier for me to talk with the owner of the hospital or owner of the entity, because the owner needs some return in their investment. Some of the company just refuse to apply this because they avoid the additional work, actually. Yes. But for the hospital, currently Dr. Cipto Mangunkusumo is collecting the clinical pathway. Maybe now is 1,000 of them. Then we will put the EBITDA metrics in every pathway. They will combine with IT. So every prescription from the doctor can make a decision, the best decision for the treatment, without lowering the level of the clinical, because it is unethical. Thank you, Professor.
This one is actually very interesting. If I continue with the comment of Professor Budi Wiwiko, actually that you apply this concept to the hospital as one step ahead, comparing with the industry in general, mining, as you mentioned previously, or another sector, ISDP, and transportation, and so on and so forth. So, I would like to challenge you, if you want to apply this concept in the university level, for example. Because when we as a professor, if we have done our job, main job, okay, I'm teaching, I make the research, I also doing the community services, it's enough. I don't care about which my university is getting enough the money to giving the salary to us, not only for the lecturer, but also for the supporting staff, for example. So this one is the mindset. If we could change our mindset, okay, I contribute, maybe just a little, just 2 cents your contribution, but it's okay that you give the university to giving more opportunity to, because Prof. Budi Susilo said, okay, this one is only the basic. Beyond that, so we need more. Oh, we have become in the most respected university because this, and so on, so on. And we need this one, the money. So this one is just simple. If you could do this one, is very, very interesting.
Yes, Professor Sudarso, I think this is very interesting. We can apply this in the ETB. So ETB will have a EBITDA 3 dashboard. In every school we have EBITDA. Then to every lecture we have EBITDA. So every lecturer understand their contribution. Not every unit should be positive EBITDA, because sometimes there is a supporting unit, but they understand. This create a sense of belonging, sense of ownership. If the EBITDA total negative, then the rector can find how can we generate revenue to get more EBITDA, maybe by the consulting, or maybe by helping other industry, or something like this. So this creates something interesting, but firstly, create sense of responsibility and accountability.
Pak Donald, we need to management of change to do that. Okay, thank you, Pak Rudy and Mr. Chairman.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we just finished the first sessions of dissertation defense, and then I will ask your patient to give opportunity to Graduate School Commission to conduct a evaluation meeting. Then I will suspend the session for maximum 20 minutes.